The complaint alleges a stark choice. In this case, someone was lying. Jane Doe, John Doe. This is not a case about alcohol. It's not a case about ambiguous consent.
But counsel, so it was a case about who was lying. Jane Doe, am I correct, did not submit her own statement, much less a sworn statement.
She did submit her own statement, but she did not
submitted a statement that the rape counselor at CARE wrote up on her behalf, correct?
Wrote up from her interview with her.
Correct, but you did not hear from Jane directly, even in writing. Is that correct?
The statement was submitted by
someone else who wrote it. She did not write it herself. So it was a credibility contest in which you not only did not hear directly from her, you didn't even read words that she had written.
That is correct. But the complaint insists that the key credibility determination was the credibility of John Doe. He hung his hat on his credibility. And in this case...
No, doesn't the complaint...
No, go ahead.
Doesn't the complaint allege that the dean made a credibility determination that Jane Doe was more credible than John Doe without having assessed her?
Without having assessed all the evidence that was made available.
Without having assessed all of the evidence and without having seen Jane Doe speak to make an assessment of her credibility.
She did speak through texts, which are alleged in the complaint.
But the complaint alleges she didn't have the opportunity to personally observe her and make a credibility determination that way, in addition to no cross-examination and other factors.
That is an allegation of the complaint, but I would submit it doesn't cut, in fact, in John Doe's favor. If Jane Doe did not speak directly, did not speak live, and nonetheless John Doe was not able to convincingly explain his text messages, we have to remember the context of the allegation. The allegation was that this was digital penetration while sleeping. Jane Doe was not an eyewitness to her own violation. She learned of the violation because John Doe told her that he did it. Now, he disputes that he told her. He had an opportunity to explain how and why it was that she would come.
So he had to rebut the allegations. So the burden was on him to show that he didn't do it in this credibility.
Actually, what he had to rebut were his own text messages, Your Honor. So it was he was debating against his own contemporaneous statements in text messages. And that's alleged in the complaint.
Yeah, I understand there was that evidence, but still, as a matter of credibility, you're saying her credibility was assumed.
No.
No?
I don't think that would be the case. The obligation that Purdue had was to investigate. Purdue has no reason to do anything except look at the evidence that the accused said was inculpating of John Doe. Excuse me, that the accuser said was inculpating of John Doe. If she had shallow evidence, if she wasn't going to testify live, then that certainly is something that can be considered in weighing the evidence. But John Doe's contentions, alleged frankly in the complaint, are not about her failure to testify. His allegations are that she waited, that there was sexual assault awareness month, that there was circumstantial evidence that suggested that this was an artifact of something other than this happening. And he hung his hat on his own rhetorical question, quoted in the complaint. Why would I not only admit to something that didn't happen, but also knowingly admit to something that would jeopardize my ROTC scholarship and future serving my country? That's the defense ground he stood on. So he asked that the decision be made on the basis of his credibility.
Well, he wasn't given an opportunity to contest hers because she didn't appear live at the hearing, if it can be called that. It wasn't really a hearing, it was a meeting before this 3-person panel. And so he wasn't given an opportunity, the normal opportunity when there's a credibility judgment to be made, to cross-examine and expose the weaknesses in the accuser's story.
Well, in Title IX, it's not.
He had no choice but to just put in his own statement, and it wasn't even in the usual adversarial context either. It was just a response to, according to the complaint, which we have to credit at this point, a response to hostile questions from one member of the three-person panel, and two members hadn't read the investigator's report, and he didn't have access to that report, so he didn't know what was coming at him.